In this video, we're going to talk about the best cashback credit cards of 2023. More specifically, I'm going to cover 6 cashback credit cards that I feel are some of the best in the entire market. Now, before I begin, I want to get a few things out there. And number one is that this list isn't meant to be exhaustive, meaning I'm not trying to cover every cashback credit card that's great or every cashback credit card from a whole bunch of banks, but just the 6 that I think are the best and will provide you with the most value. And with the first cashback credit card on this list, which I think is the absolute best, hands down, card available on the market right now, and that is the Capital One Saver One. Not only does this credit card have amazing multipliers, giving you 3% on dining, 3% on groceries, 3% on streaming, and 3% on entertainment, it provides you with an Uber One membership that when you charge your card to it, gets deducted in the form of a monthly statement. So not only does this card have those 4 amazing multipliers, plus our Uber One membership up until November 2024, but this is perhaps the best perk of the card, and that is if you use this card for Uber Eats or Uber Rides, you get 10% cash back. Yes, you heard that right. You get 10% cash back on every Uber Eats order and on every Uber Rides order. That is until November 2024. On top of that, and this is probably the best thing of this cashback credit card, is that it comes with a 0 annual fee. Yes, it comes with a 0 annual fee. Now, the next 2 credit cards on this list, coming in at number 2 and at number 3 respectively, are both going to be Chase credit cards. And at number 2, I'm going to be talking about the Chase Freedom Unlimited. Now, the Chase Freedom Unlimited is a solid catch-all card, but it wasn't going to originally be on this list. That is until there are now 2 special offers that you can take advantage of when you get this card as a new member. The first offer is a public welcome offer, and that is that on top of all the multipliers you get from the Freedom Unlimited, which is 3% on dining, 3% on pharmacy, and 1.5 on everything else, you have a 5% category in gas and a newly added 5% category on groceries for the first year up until $12,000 of spend. Now, if this wasn't enough, there's another offer now. Now, keep this in mind that this offer is only through affiliate links, so you won't find it in the public welcome offer. The second special offer currently right now for the Chase Freedom Unlimited is that you can get, instead of 3% on dining, you can get 6% on dining. Instead of 3% on pharmacies, you'll get 6% on pharmacy. And perhaps most amazing of all, instead of getting 1.5% on everything, you'll get 3% on everything. So if you were ever thinking about getting a Chase credit card and you haven't done so yet, I would highly recommend jumping on board now because of these 2 special offers. You could weigh the pros and cons of each and decide which one you want to go for. And the third cashback credit card on this list, which is the Freedom Unlimited's brother, is the Chase Freedom Flex. This is yet another solid cashback credit card, and to boot, it comes from the Chase ecosystem, one of the best, if not the best, in the entire credit card game. With the Chase Freedom Flex, you're going to get 5% on rotating quarterly categories, which for Q4, which is right now going up until December, isn't necessarily the strongest since it has a category for charities, a category for PayPal, and a category for wholesale clubs. Now, for some people, those are going to be 3 solid categories, but for myself, it isn't necessarily the best. And another credit card that I'm going to be discussing in just a moment here has better quarterly rotating categories in this quarter of the year. But the Chase Freedom Flex is still a solid cashback credit card. And just like the Freedom Unlimited, you can get 5% back on gas and 5% back on grocery for the first year when you get this card. So I highly recommend getting either the Chase Freedom Flex or the Chase Freedom Unlimited. Some additional reasons that I forgot to discuss as to why you might want to get the Chase Freedom Unlimited or the Chase Freedom Flex is because the welcome bonus offer is easy to hit since you only have to spend $500 in the first 3 months. And for just doing that, you're going to get $200 back, which is almost a 50% return on your spending. And for the 4th credit card on this list, which I feel flies on the radar a little too much and is generally very underrated, and that is the Discover It cashback credit card. Now, the Discover It cashback credit card is especially really good in your first year of holding it because Discover doesn't give you a traditional welcome bonus when you get the card, but instead they do what is known as a cashback match. Meaning if you earn $300 for your first year in 5% categories, Discover is going to give you another $300. But not only do they match your cashback on the 5% categories, but they also do a cashback match on the 1% categories. So let's say, for example, you earned $100 of cashback in the 1% categories. Discover is going to give you another $100 cashback in the 1% category. Additional reasons as to why you might want to get this credit card that I don't really hear often discussed in the web is that Discover lets you check your FICO score for free, which is very important since your FICO score is used for many important things. Another cool thing about the Discover It cashback credit card that again doesn't really get discussed is that any cashback you earn doesn't have to necessarily be deposited into a Discover checking account or a Discover savings account. Instead, you can have that cashback directly deposited into another bank account, even if it's from another bank. So you could deposit it into your Chase account, your Capital One account, your Bank of America account, and it just saves time and makes it more efficient with using your cashback. And the fifth cashback credit card on this list, which also I think flies a little bit on the radar, but is getting a little more recognition nowadays, is from American Express, and that is the Blue Cash every day. Now this card is pretty simple. It has 3 solid multipliers, giving you 3% on gas, 3% on online shopping, which I feel is the absolute best category, and 3% on groceries. Now what I feel makes this card better than a lot of other cashback credit cards out in the market is that it gives you an $84 annual credit for Disney bundle / Hulu bundle annually, and it also even comes with an $180 Home Chef credit. Now, some of the flaws with this card, the Blue Cash Everyday, is that it's not necessarily cash back in the sense that you could only redeem the cash back as a statement credit, meaning you can deposit it into a checkings account or a savings account, which is my preferred method of using cash back. Now, with the 6th credit card on this list, which is the Blue Cash Everyday older brother, and that is the Blue Cash Preferred, which is another amazing and solid cashback credit card that I feel nowadays is a little bit underrated and underappreciated because of some newer cashback credit cards. This card gives you a whopping 6% on grocery, a 6% multiplier on streaming, a 3% multiplier on transit, and a 3% multiplier on gas. Now, there's a lot of overlap between the Blue Cash Everyday and the Blue Cash Preferred. So in this case, you might decide which of the two will be best for your spending needs. And as I determined, the Blue Cash Everyday is best for me, which is why I haven't gotten the Blue Cash Preferred. And again, another limitation to this card, similar to its younger brother, is that you can only get your cashback rewards in the form of statement credit. Now, there is a way around this where you could actually get liquid cash back instead of getting the statement credit, which I'll discuss in a future video. Also, I'll be making a part 2 to this video sometime in the future since I want to cover some additional cashback credit cards that I feel don't get enough love and attention in this market or space in the future. If you made it this far into the video, I want to thank you for watching. Stay subscribed, hit that notification bell, like the video, and stay tuned for more videos on credit cards, personal finance, and productivity.